So, if we cannot factor something, the next way that we learned how to solve a quadratic was by completing the
Formula.
square. Completing the square. Okay, but there is another way. Completing the square is a lot of steps to have memorized and to remember. So there is also a formula for this. It's called the quadratic formula. There is one condition for the quadratic formula, and I want you to underline it right now. For an equation in the form ax squared, which means there's a number in front of x squared, plus bx squared, which means there's a number in front of x, plus c, so just a constant by itself, no numbers, equal to 0. Remember how when we factored, we always wanted it equal to 0? For quadratic formula, we also have to have everything equal to 0 or it will not work. Okay, so we need the equation equal to 0. We have a formula for solving. Here's what it looks like. Here's how we read it. X equals negative b, which means that we take the opposite of b, right? So if b is a negative number, it's going to be a negative, which makes it positive. Do not forget that this negative goes on the outside, no matter what b is. Plus or minus. Doesn't this look familiar? Square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2 times a. Okay, so we plug a in 2 places. We plug b in 2 places. And we plug in c just once. Okay? Not too bad. There is a song to remember this. I learned it in 8th grade, and I still remember it to this day. I know. Who knows Pop Goes the Weasel?
I hate that song.
Okay? We can put the quadratic formula to the tune Pop Goes the Weasel. The words are just the quadratic formula. You guys ready? Do not laugh at me, please. I'm only doing this once, and then we are doing it together. Okay?
Yeah.
Ready? You will only hear this once. It is recorded. Okay, it goes. X equals minus b plus or minus radical b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. Okay, that's how it goes. Is everybody ready? I'm not doing it again. Everybody's doing it. It's all just this. I'll sing it with you.
I have no idea what you said.
Ready? 2, 3.
X equals minus b plus or minus radical b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2.
Okay, woohoo! Give yourselves a round of applause. Okay, what to do for example 1 is first determine A, B, and C. That's the biggest part. Okay, the hardest part is just figuring out what A, B, and C are. So for example 1, all I want to do is figure out A, B, and C. Okay, so looking at the first one, x squared plus 4x plus 3 equals 0. Is the whole thing equal to 0? Yes. So, what is the A term?
X squared.
Okay, it's not the x squared x part, it's just the number in front of them. So if there's nothing in front of x squared, what's there that we can't see?
1.
An invisible 1. So A equals 1. Okay. What about B? What's in front of the x term? Positive 4, right? So B equals 4. What's C?
3.
Positive 3. So C equals 3. That's all I wanted us to do for example 1. Okay? So, yeah. So all we're going to do is take A, B, and C, plug it in, and solve. That's it. Better than completing the square, right? Okay. We're going to do it. so what about the second one in example 1? Is it equal to 0 yet? I have to set it equal to 0. How do I do that? Subtract 7. So that gives me 2x squared minus 3x minus 7 equals 0. No, we're not solving. I just want you to find A, B, and C. What's A?
2.
A is equal to 2. Okay, what's B? Negative 3. Negative. So B equals negative 3. And C equals? Negative 7. So C equals negative 7. Okay?
And then you plug it into the X.
So, all I wanted us to do for these was to find A, B, and C so we can get used to identifying them. Let's do an example. So, example 2. Okay, so example 2 we're actually going to solve, which means we're going to find A, B, and C and plug it in. So, what is A? I want us to write it out.
1.
A is equal to 1, right? What's B? B is positive 2. And E is negative 13. C equals negative 13. Okay, let's actually plug it in now. So the whole thing starts, X equals negative B. What I suggest, guys, the minus B part is where everybody always messes up in some way. This is the most commonly missed area. I suggest that you put B in parentheses. So X equals minus B in parentheses. If the B was a negative, it would be minus a negative, which would make them both positive. Which is why I want you to put it in parentheses. Okay, that's the formula. X equals minus B. So whatever B is, you make it negative. Okay, so we're going to use the formula. Plus or minus, radical, draw a nice long radical. B squared is 2 minus 4 times A, which is 1, times C, which is negative 13, all divided by 2A. So 2 times 1. Okay? Are you guys good so far?
Yeah.
All I did was plug it in. Okay, so let's simplify. X equals minus positive 2 makes the whole outside a negative 2, right?
Yeah.
Plus or minus radical. What's 2 squared? 4. Okay, minus negative 4 times positive 1. Negative 4 times negative 13. Positive 52. So it's going to be plus 52.
Over 2.
All divided by 2. Okay. Not quite. We have to simplify as much as possible. So what is 52 plus 4? So this is negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 56. All divided by 2. Oh, hold on. See how it all ties together? All divided by 2. Okay, now this is the one question on the quiz that was the most missed, and I wanted to go over it, but we're doing it right now. So, 56. The square root of 56. Can I simplify that anymore? Are there any? Can you rewrite 56 so that using a perfect square? No. 7 times 8. What about, so 56 is equal to 7 times 8. Neither of those are perfect squares, right? What about 56 is times 4 times what? 14. 4 times 14. Okay. So I'm doing this off to the side because this is scratch work. So the square root of 56 is equal to the square root of 4 times the square root of 14, right? And the square root of 4 is 2 root 14, right? Okay, so this is x equals.
Wait, isn't 14 square? Because that was part of
7 times 7 is 49.
4 times 4.
4 times 4 is 16. Okay, so this is negative 2 plus or minus 2 root 14 all over 2.
Can't those cancel out?
Okay, and then here is where I saw a lot of mistakes on the quiz. I got a lot of people that did exactly what I told you not to do, which was reduce this part but not this part. We have to reduce everything, right? So negative 2, positive or plus or minus 2, and 2 all reduced by 2. So this becomes negative 1, this becomes 1, and this becomes 1. So x is equal to negative 1 plus or minus, do I have to write the 1 in front?
No.
Square root 14.
That's your answer.
And that's your answer.
Easy. So basically, okay, I'm going to do.
Okay, example 2. Is the whole thing equal to 0? Yes. So what's A here? A is 2. So A equals 2. B equals positive 5. And C equals positive 3. Okay. Let's plug it in. X equals minus positive 5. So, well, this is a positive. I always put B in parentheses at first so that I don't accidentally leave off a negative. Plus or minus radical B squared, 5 squared, minus 4 AC, so 2 times 3, all over 2A, so 2 times 2. What I really want you guys to do is when using quadratic formula for the first step, write it all out, just plug everything in. Don't do any simplifying yet, okay? I need to make sure that you know how to plug everything in, okay? Got it? Okay, so x equals negative 5, right? Plus or minus square root, 5 squared is 25. Okay, negative 4 times 2 gives me negative 8 times 3 gives me negative 24. So all three of these are being multiplied, and that negative is attached to the 4. All over 2 times 2 is 4. So x equals negative 5 plus or minus square root of what? 1 all over 4. What's the square root of 1? 1. So x equals negative 5 plus or minus 1. Well, the square root of 1 is 1, right?
Oh, yeah.
All divided by 4. Okay, can I stop here? No. There's no radical anymore, right? So I can actually keep going. This is 2 answers. Let's write out the 2 answers. X equals negative 5 plus or minus 1? Plus 1 all over 4.
Wait, how did you do 5 plus minus 1?
And, or x equals negative 5 minus 1.
Oh.
So I split it up into 2, all over 4. Hold on. Okay, so let's keep going. So x equals what? Negative 5 plus 1 gives me negative 4 over 4. And x equals negative 5 minus 1, negative 6 over 4. Okay. And then let's reduce. So x equals negative 4 divided by positive 4. Negative 1. And what does this reduce by? By 2. 2 goes into negative 6. Negative 3 over 2. So, sometimes you will actually be able to list 2 answers because the radical reduces all the way down. If, like in example 1, it stays a radical, you can leave your answer as we wrote it. Okay?